Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be checking out the Blood Angels chapter, Warhammer 40k by the Templin Institute. Yes guys, this was recommended to me over on the Discord by Fear, so big shout out to you sir. I appreciate the recommendations as always. And yeah, we've obviously been checking out quite a bit of Sigismund the Black Templars the last couple days, so I figure yeah, let's switch up the color scheme quite a bit, you know. I do love the red and the black accent on the Blood Angels, I will say. I think it's awful sick, and if you guys look at my channel, you know me, red and black, you know, it's just kind of my colors. But yeah, you know, obviously the Blood Angels under Sanguinius. I know we have seen quite a few videos, well not quite a few, we've seen a few videos on Sanguinius now, and we've obviously seen him talked about in a lot of the other Primarch videos we've seen, but we don't know a whole lot about, you know, his actual chapter, obviously being the Blood Angels. I don't know a lot of specifics about them, so I figure Templin Institute makes great videos. They make great content. I don't know if it's a group of narrators, how they organize the narration for it, but I have not seen a Templin Institute video. I have dislikes so far, so you know, fantastic channel. I recommend them a lot. Yeah, so if you guys enjoyed the video, of course, leave a like, subscribe for more content from me, and of course, leave your recommendations down in the comments below. Go check out their video here. Obviously, there will be a link down in the description. Go check it out. Leave a like on their video. Give them their due, guys. And yeah, big shout out to all of our members, all of the Hastati and our Principe Dagenhart. I appreciate you, sir. You guys inspire me to make more content for you guys every single day, of course. And yeah, with that, guys, let's get right into Blood Angel chapter, Warhammer 40k by the Templin Institute. Captions on, captions on. Quality good, quality good. Let's get right into it.
In the brutal life of a space marine, there is little room for anything but the art of war. Beauty, grace, artistry, and empathy, all of these are discarded within a galaxy of carnage and slaughter, and the laughter of thirsting gods.
Oh no.
It is perhaps a miracle.
That's all the things that they like, though. Like, look how sweet that armor looks, man. Wow. That red-black.
A deep appreciation for these.
Somebody let me know if I'm wrong. Pretty sure that's a chaplain, but holy shit, man, that red and black color scheme, black Aquila on the shoulder plate there, and obviously the red. Oh man, I fucking love it. The chains wrapped around there. I do love the color scheme of the Blood Angels. I'll say right now, they look fucking sweet.
Of the Adeptus Astartes.
I'm thinking that's a chaplain. Somebody let me know if I'm incorrect, but pretty sure.
Which at their core,
the mask is hard to forget.
The warriors of this chapter were lifted up from savage beginnings, driven by ideals of humanity and hope that have endured to form the core of their creed. Within them still blazes the beauty, grace, artistry, and empathy of the great angel Sanguinius, yet now offset by a rage and ruthlessness fueled by his slaughter at the hands of the archenemy.
I see.
While the most triumphant among them can only be a pale imitation of their fallen Primarch, all have risen to meet this legacy. Those who have supped from the sanguinary chalices and survived are noble in spirit, honorable in manner, furious in battle, and worthy of the title Blood Angel.
That looks awesome. Terminators look sweet too.
Legion, the Blood Angels were founded during the latter days of the Unification Wars and the first faltering steps of the Great Crusade. Known then simply as the 9th Legion Astartes, they bore little resemblance to the angelic figures they would become. On Terra's bloody soil and in the Xenos-infested moons of Jupiter, they earned for themselves a grim reputation.
Did they clear out Jupiter?
Some of the worst abominations left over from Old Night in
Oh.
order to tame soul for their emperor. The 9th Legion would become little more than outcasts for their savage and cruel approach to war. The process of Astartes' transformation gave each Marine an echo.
So did they cleared out, what was it, the moons of Saturn? Xenos-infested moons of Jupiter, okay. So they actually took place, and I guess they were only the 9th at this time. Sanguinius hadn't been found, obviously. So, very interesting to note that they actually played a key part. I wonder, I don't know the specifics of the conquering of the Sol system itself. Were a lot of planetary bodies, moons, what have you, inhabited by Xenos, or I guess like at this point subhuman species? Was there a lot of clearing out to do in the initial Sol system? I imagine there must have been by the sounds of this. I know, obviously, there were a bunch of human colonies on the moons, as they say. And obviously, once the Astartes cleared those out, they freed all those slaves. What were they, like, actually keeping them in captive, though? Were they, like, subhuman abominations? Was it a Xenos threat? What exactly was it? Or is it just not known, per se? Somebody let me know.
They earned for themselves a grim reputation, though they brought to ruin some of the worst abominations left over from Old Night in order to tame Sol for their emperor. The Ninth Legion would become little more than outcasts for their savage and cruel approach to war.
Damn. Savage and cruel approach to war.
Transformation gave each Marine an echo of the angelic features of their Primarch, still lost to them somewhere across the galaxy.
Because you definitely don't initially think that when you think of Blood Angels, right? Like you think, you know, they're poetic almost, they're artistry based, you know, they're more, how would you say? They're more of a refined space marine, you know, I suppose. They have an upper taste, you know, for the finer things in life, let's say. You definitely don't think like necessarily cruel or savage, but I guess at this point, again, they're not reunited with their Primarch. I believe Sanguinius did quite a few reforms initially once he took hold of his Legion. I could be wrong, but I think based upon those Sanguinius videos we saw, I'm pretty sure he reformed them quite a bit.
Features of their Primarch, still lost to them somewhere across the galaxy, but this only served to highlight the horrors they inflicted. Adopting the title of the Revenant Legion, they allowed their savagery in battle to become ever more excessive.
Damn.
Rumors surrounding the fate of several Imperial Army regiments assigned to their side, the hushed whispers
of the
brutal campaign of Ki Baran, and their actions during the Second Siege of Urant earned the Legion the personal censor of Primarch Rogel Dawn, and cemented their cruel reputation across the growing Imperium.
Oh, really?
They were not the first Space Marine Legion to cross the boundaries of conduct set forth by
Rogel Dorn fucking censored them.
The Ninth may never have suspected it. For a brief moment, an executioner's sword hung above them, waiting for the order to cast them down.
Really?
An order given only twice before.
Really? Was it that close? Were they really that savage and cruel that the Emperor nearly took him out, like the Thunder Warriors almost, in a sense? Is that true? Wow. I had no idea. Like, see, that's what I mean. They apparently were very fucking bad. Like, in comparison to a Thunder Warrior, I'm assuming they had to have been better, based on the fact that they're Astartes, perhaps. But goddamn, really? So they were almost a third legion. There was almost a third legion taken out entirely. It's crazy to think.
An order given only twice before. With the fate of the Legion in the balance came their salvation. On an arid, radiation-baked moon orbiting the world of Baal, Secundus, an angel of a man had arisen to unite the tribes of his home world in peaceful coexistence. A figure of perfect features and unrivaled grace, this man was worshipped as a god, soaring above his followers on a pair of immense angelic wings. He was named Sanguinius, a lost son of the Emperor, and lost Primarch of the Ninth Legion.
Fucking Chad right there. Not a demigod though, guys.
Survived in the
has fucking angel wings, like bro.
World, and yet this had only
not a god, guys. Not a god.
Humanity. It is said that when he finally reunited with the Emperor of Man, he wept crystal tears from which flowers sprouted when they fell to Earth.
Oh, that's some propaganda. What the hell?
He asked,
bro, I'm just gonna say right now, if there's ever been a propaganda line to be sold, like, you know, like an NK level propaganda quote, be that right there. When Sanguinius cried, he wept crystals, and when those crystals hit the ground, they sprouted into roses. Like, what the fuck? That's like, that's like, you know, he was born on a great mountain, and when he was born, a rainbow bloomed in his stead. Like, what the fuck?
Tears from which flowers sprouted when they fell to Earth.
Like,
from his father, he asked only that his people be spared, knowing full well that the pious sons of Baal were not of the kind the Emperor desired for his Imperium.
Yikes.
When the Emperor granted this request and reunited Sanguinius with his legion, it was the same empathy that drove him to see the promise in these blood-soaked killers. Refusing to acknowledge that they were beyond the hope of salvation,
Yikes.
guided his sons to resist their deep-rooted thirst for blood and savagery, encouraging them to heighten their humanity rather than debase it. It was through this effort that they took on a new name, the Blood Angels.
Mm.
And it was a title they would earn, fighting at the side of Sanguinius' closest brother, the War Master Horus Lupercal.
Because I guess, yeah, they're just the 9th up until now,
The
right?
friendship between Sanguinius and Horus was legendary, even inspiring feelings of jealousy amidst their brother Primarchs. Across the ranks of the Lunar Wolves, Horus's own legion, Sanguinius saw an example that his Blood Angels should strive to embody. By fighting at the side of the Lunar Wolves, the 9th Legion found in themselves a new sense of honor, discipline, and even mercy. They began to hold themselves to a greater standard, and to seek more in war than simply bloodshed.
That's kind of why I do like the Blood Angels too quite a bit, is because they're not just like brutes. Like under Sanguinius, right? They actually like there's some of they're one of the few legions that actually like do more with their life, like seek more with their life, seemingly, than just like shedding blood and killing, right? Not that there's anything wrong with that, right? I'm no heretic. I mean, hell, go give your life for the Emperor, brother. I appreciate you, of course. But, you know, it is cool that they can find some appreciation in things other than just like self-sacrifice and killing Xenos, you know what I mean?
Themselves to a greater standard, and to seek more in war than simply bloodshed. As the Great Crusade neared its apex, the Legion had been transformed. Cleansed with the gore-splattered killers of the Revenant Legion, in their place stood the Blood Angels, a true brotherhood of warriors, as proud and angelic as their Primarch father. But the flaws of the 9th Legion were rooted in its very gene seed, and for some, it was too much to overcome. Hidden from all but a select few, corruption within the Legion was slowly worming its way through their ranks. In the heat of battle, some warriors would break, plunging into an orgy of violence that recalled the nightmare days of the Revenants.
God damn.
Those who recovered would be shocked and disgusted by what they had done, but for others, the madness would never fade, growing deeper until all reason and sanity was gone. For these afflicted Blood Angels, all that could be done was a swift execution, often undertaken in secret by the Primarch himself. Under the study of the apothecaries, this affliction was named the Red Thirst. To Sanguinius' horror, it seemed there was little that could stem the outbreak, and the angel foresaw that it would eventually swallow his legion entirely.
Yeah, that's quite the flaw, man.
The War Master Horus would gain knowledge of this flaw, swearing...
Out of all the flaws, like Primarch flaws, I guess. Not Primarch flaws, but Gene Seed flaws, I should say. What do you guys think is the worst? Like, obviously, like, Wolfen is pretty bad. Red Thirst, though, I don't know. Is it arguably worse? It's hard to say for me, man. I don't know. Like, there are quite a number of different, like, afflictions, I guess you could say, that that the Gene Seeds give you, depending upon your legion. But what do you guys think is the worst? Because, like, fuck, I think Red Thirst might be it, you know?
The War Master Horus would gain knowledge of this flaw, swearing never to reveal what he had learned. But with his fall to the ruinous powers of chaos, this oath was cast aside. Of his brothers, Horus feared Sanguinius above all, and in his opening strike against the Imperium, the traitor War Master sought to use the Red Thirst to shatter the Blood Angels. Before his betrayal was revealed, the 9th Legion was ordered by Horus to the Cygnus Cluster, lured with the promise of a cure for the Red Thirst. Here, the trap was sprung. The entire system had fallen prey to the power of chaos, and left overrun by their demonic hordes.
That's fucked.
Upon the twisted and mind-bending hellscape of Cygnus Prime, the Legion reached its breaking point. Kabanta, the champion of the blood god Khorne, a creature of pure rage and hatred, struck down Sanguinius and hundreds of his sons. At the sight of their Primarch wounded and seemingly dead, the Blood Angels were pushed back into the state of bestial violence they had strove for years to overcome. In that moment, the Red Thirst took hold of them by the thousands. Only with Sanguinius' reawakening were they pulled back from the brink of utter ruin, but the damage was done. Rather than finding a cure to the Red Thirst, a new shadow now lay across their souls, deeper than before and rooted in something more fundamental than simple bloodlust. The true extent of this new affliction, what would come to be known as the Black Rage, would only be fully realized with the fate of Sanguinius himself.
When that happened, didn't that, like, unironically almost help, like, the battle situation for the Blood Angels at that time? like when they saw Sanguinius fall, they just turned into a bunch of fucking ravenous killers, and they actually started like beating the enemy back a little bit. Now, obviously the issue there was that they were going to fully lose themselves to it, and in this instance they didn't, because Sanguinius didn't die in this time, but or at this time, but you know, if he had, obviously losing them completely to the Red Thirst, that would have been the ideal outcome for Horus, obviously. But I think during that time, that temporary time when that popped off, they actually just started fucking massacring. I could be wrong. Somebody let me know for sure, but I'm pretty sure they had like a fucking poggers moment there for a little bit.
As the Horus heresy tore the galaxy asunder, the Blood Angels escaped the Cygnus cluster and arrived in Ultramar, the realm of the Primarch Rabute Guilliman. Guilliman offered Sanguinius the position of Emperor over his newly founded Imperium Secundus.
Oh god.
When Sanguinius reluctantly accepted, the angel knew that his true fate lay with his father. In a desperate gambit, the Blood Angels plunged through the roiling warp storms that divided the galaxy. They arrived on Terra in time to man its defenses alongside the Imperial Fists, White Scars, and a myriad of other loyalist forces.
Man, just looking at this illustration is so fucking crazy. Like, look at this trench line of just guard in front. Like, I'd fucking hate to be like just one of these guys, man. Like, you're done. Like, it's just, you're not gonna. There's 0% chance of living, and I know that's the point of the guard. But like, even look what's happening here. Like, look at this artillery strike. These landing pods coming in after that strike has just hit. Like, how many fucking thousands do you think just died? Like, look at that trench line there. Just fucking got obliterated like that, man. Fuck that, dude. I feel so bad for the guard regiments, man.
Amidst the burning spires and smashed fortifications that marked the Siege of Terra, the Blood Angels fought with a courage equal to any display in human history. But despite the unrelenting fury directed upon the traitor legions and the personal slaughter unleashed by Sanguinius, the battle seemed lost. At this moment, a last, desperate gambit was played. The Emperor and his custodies made a push to end the rebellion, teleporting directly onto Horus's flagship to face the traitor Warmaster personally. Sanguinius and his sons assembled beside their Emperor, along with Rogel Dawn and the Imperial Fists. But the boarding parties were scattered across the ship, and Sanguinius found himself facing down his brother, alone. Precisely what happened in that final confrontation has been lost, twisted by the sermons of the Ecclesiarchy and the censors of the Inquisition.
Yeah, I guess we don't really know, eh? The two people that were there, or the...
had perished.
I guess I should say anybody there that was present that could witness is probably not alive anymore, I guess, to say exactly what happened there. And I don't even think the Emperor, unless he had precognition on that exact event, would know himself, because he wasn't there when Sanguinius was felled, right? He came into the room after, saw Sanguinius dead, right? And it was like, oh, shit. But, you know, Horus did it. I don't know if there were any accompanying traitor marines. I'm assuming there would have had to be. But I'm assuming Horus and anyone in that room would be probably fucking killed off, or damn near close to everyone would be killed off that could have witnessed that.
One thing is certain. Sanguinius had perished. When Horus was himself slain, Rogel Dawn would carry off the shattered Emperor to endure his fate within the Golden Throne, and it was left to the remaining Blood Angels to take Sanguinius's broken body away from the grasp of the enemy. In time, it would be carried back to Baal Secundus, interned in a great stasis tomb beneath their fortress monastery. This tomb would become the soul of the Blood Angels and every successor chapter they founded, a reminder that courage and sacrifice is their ultimate duty as his sons. Though Sanguinius' final moments are lost to the wider Imperium, the Blood Angels know too well the agony of that legendary confrontation. From the youngest neophyte,
Sanguinius just in the background, fucking dead. Oh my god.
And the ancient commander Dante.
That's brutal.
All hold the record of these
it's not funny, but it's just like, goddamn.
Than any other. When the great angel died, the full extent of the Black Rage was unleashed. The Primarch's psychic death scream echoed through his sons, through time itself, so that even 10,000 years later, that anguish can still be felt.
Like, I'm pretty sure it was like an awakening call when he eventually died. Like, every Blood Angel, I think, at that time, just like, you know, the synapses fucking turned on, and they all, like, you know, Man, that's awful. That's awful. Like, but to think like how in tune they were with Sanguinius, like just how like strong cohesion wise as a legion you'd have to be. Like it goes to say a lot for the Blood Angels, just how like much they actually cared for Sanguinius and how much he seemingly cared for his legion, you know. I don't think we've seen many accounts of Sanguinius being bad ever or doing something questionable. And if it was questionable, it was like a very, very nuanced problem. Like, you know, like there was a lot to consider, and good or bad, you couldn't really be blamed for the outcome per se, you know. But for the most part, yeah, Sanguinius, like he just seemed to be a great guy, you know, great Primarch, and actually seemed to genuinely care about humanity and the betterment of it. Yeah, very exemplary.
Itself, so that even 10,000 years later, that anguish can still be felt. When the Black Rage takes hold of a brother in the midst of conflict or on the eve of battle, their minds are ripped from their time and taken back to this moment.
Goddamn.
Those afflicted believe themselves to be Sanguinius, or one of his proud champions, and imbued with a fraction of the strength and resilience of their Primarch. Any foe set before them appears as the arch-traitor Horus and his legions. The rage they feel is overwhelming. The Blood Angels were among the first of the remaining loyalist legions to divide themselves into chapters in accordance with the Codex Hastatis. To see their legion broken, even by their own hand, was a tragedy.
Yeah, I imagine.
The Codex was seen not only as a source of military wisdom, but a means through which they could further hone their martial spirit and aid them in restraining their dark urges. In the 10,000 years since the...
And do you guys think that actually helped the Blood Angels in a way? Breaking them down into chapters? I feel like almost... Because I guess the way they would deal with it chapter to chapter would vary slightly, you know what I'm saying? So maybe they could come up with a solution for it, or maybe a better way to deal with it, perhaps. I don't know a whole lot about the successor chapters of the Blood Angels, so let me know. Like, how did they actually deal with that? I don't know if they're going to get into it here in the rest of the video, but if they don't, yeah, somebody let me know some of the successor chapters and like how well they actually deal with the Red Thirst, or I guess the Rage at this point, right? Like, how did they overcome it? How do they overcome it? Is it different than the original way they overcome it or deal with it? You know, because obviously Sanguinius just kind of executed them secretly if you know, they succumbed. So yeah, somebody let me know.
Training their dark urges. In the 10,000 years since the fall of Sanguinius and the birth of the chapter, the Blood Angels have stayed largely true to the Codex Hastatis. Yet to accommodate both the flaws in their gene seed and the character of their warriors, they have introduced many small changes and traditions. As with most Hastatis legions, the Blood Angels are led by...
But are they heretical choices and decisions?
The latter is made up of both the traditional chaplains, logisticians, and fleet captains found in any chapter, but these individuals often hold other titles, not drawn from the Codex, but rather the history of Baal itself.
Okay.
Most honored among these are the members of the Sanguinary Guard and the Sanguinary Priesthood. The Guard is made up of the chapter's finest warriors, wearing armor and bearing weapons so ancient that they might be traced back to the Siege of Terror itself.
That's actually pretty sweet.
They are known for the fearsome death masks they wear, cracking with halos of light that can shake the enemy with overwhelming feelings of terror.
Isn't this, if I'm remembering from the Amber King Gilliman video, Gilliman had a problem with these death masks because he straight up saw his brother's face, you know, in sadness and agony, almost in a sense, and he saw it as like a mocking symbol, but it wasn't like supposed to be mocking. It was supposed to embody like the spirit of Sanguinius in a sense. And I just think it's very interesting, like the masks that they use. Like, I don't know if they get into it in this video. Hopefully they touch on it a bit, like the specifics of those masks, because I'd like to know a little bit more about them, the exact exact reason why they choose to do it. I know we've heard a few reasons before, but you know, exactly why do they choose to embody that face? You know, I obviously, like, they have great respect for Sanguinius, but would it not also be heartbreaking in a sense? Like,
cracking with halos of light that can shake the enemy with overwhelming feelings of terror. While many chapters field similar units of elite warriors each, the role of the sanguinary priests are reserved for the sons of the original legion alone. Similar to the apothecaries used by the wider Hastatis, the sanguinary priests are deeply rooted in the blood of their primarch and central to the traditions of the chapter. It is the priesthood that takes in raw recruits and oversees their transition to full battle brothers. They alone preserve the last drops of their primarch's blood, weaving its essence into chalices so that their chapter might feel their father's presence or hear his voice. The Council of Bone and Blood is drawn from the priesthood, and it is this conclave that appoints a new chapter master, should one be required. Yet, those granted the positions of leadership over the Blood Angels know that theirs is a dying chapter. Among their many duties is to keep watch over their brothers for the signs of their ancient curse.
That looks awesome.
Despite every effort, the Red Thirst still manifests itself in battle, a shameful act, unless it is done in the most dire of circumstances, or under the guidance of the sanguinary priests. For most, the Red Thirst is but a temporary fall into a feverish blood madness. It is the Black Rage that is permanent.
I see.
To those wholly gripped by the dying scream of their primarch, only the Death Company awaits. This furious and morbid brotherhood is expected to perish in battle, their bright red armor painted in the black of mourning. Shepherded into the fiercest conflicts by skull-helmed chaplains.
That looks awesome.
Berserkers hurl themselves into the midst of their foe.
Wait, so chaplains are actually the ones that, like, that's kind of like their officer rank in a sense? Like, chaplains are the one leading them into battle? That's awesome. That's actually really fucking cool, because usually you don't see, you don't see a lot of chaplains necessarily, at least I haven't, out there, like, fighting. Obviously, you see them in a more traditional role in a sense. I'm not to say they can't fight. I'm sure they could kick ass along with the best, but I just haven't seen a whole lot of them on the ground per se. But to know that they actually go out there and they get some with these boys, and this is a unit that's expected to die, it's pretty metal. Wow.
Helmed chaplains. These raging berserkers hurl themselves.
Because these are people that are Astartes that have lost themselves completely.
Or drop pod, and do not rest until every enemy lies broken around them. The Death Company is perhaps what awaits every member of the chapter, an unrestrained expression of their natural, honed abilities. Even within their regular units, however, Blood Angels have always favored close-quarters combat. Their battle companies field far more assault marines than any Codex-compliant chapter. This ferocity is equally present in its war machines. The Baal Pattern Predator exemplifies the chapter's approach to war, trading its longer-ranged weaponry for twin-linked assault cannons, an array of flamethrowers, and a far faster and more maneuverable chassis. Most impactful, however, is the Blood Angels' approach to heavy assault. The chapter and their successors have adapted a method of rapidly deploying Land Raider tanks through daring, low-altitude runs with their Thunderhawk gunships.
That's pretty sweet.
Vehicles into the heart of the foe, while trusting in the sturdiness of the machine spirit and the resilience of their brethren to survive. This method of assault is unseen in any other chapters, even the White Scars or Space Wolves, evidence of either the incredible skill or blood-fueled insanity inherent within the sons of Sanguinius.
I was gonna say, that's a very, very risky play, especially, you're coming in on a Thunderhawk, you're at risk of AA fire already, and now if that Thunderhawk goes down, you're not only losing that, any Marines inside, but you're also losing a pretty valuable armored asset as well, right? That those tanks, I'm assuming, aren't that cheap, and especially in an assault, they can make the difference. Obviously, if you can deploy them in that manner, that's fucking busted. I could see that raking shit across the enemy rear line or in any situation it's deployed in. But very, very high risk indeed.
This method of war, crafted by the Blood Angels Legion, has been passed down to its successor chapters. Scores of such chapters have been founded from the gene seed of the 7th Legion over the millennia. Some have upheld the reverence for humanity that Sanguinius had hoped to instill in his sons, whilst others have only fallen further down the path to desolation. The Angels Encarmine and Angels Sanguine can both be said to strive for the values of humanity and nobility that the Primarch taught, whilst the Flesh Tearers, Blood Drinkers, and Exsanguinators have left a legacy of bloodshed and brutality to rival the old Revenant Legion.
Yeah, really?
Yet, in the hopeless situation the
Wow.
Imperium man finds itself within, it is possible even Sanguinius might have realized the need for both sides of the 7th Legion's legacy. With the galaxy entering the time of ending, even the Blood Angels have found themselves pushed to their limits by the encroaching darkness. The Third Tyrannic War reached its apocalyptic conclusion on the homeworld of the chapter, and the devastation
That's
of Baal
right.
has sundered the Blood Angels like no event since the heresy. So great was the peril of their ancient homeworld that every successor chapter to the Blood Angels, save but a few, rallied together to fight again as one legion in its defense. The victory at Baal is widely attributed to the supreme abilities of Lord Commander Dante, Master of the Blood Angels.
Heard a lot about him.
The intervention of the reborn Primarch Robute Gilliman. Yet in truth, a great swath of the Tyranid High Fleet simply disappeared, with the only clue to their fate uncovered on the moon of Baal Prime. Here, Tyranid skulls were piled impossibly high in the 8-pillared icon of the chapter's most ancient of foes, the bloodthirster Kabanta. A message for the chapter that their destruction would be at his hands alone.
Wow.
That time may be drawing near, for the largest warp storms...
See, these chaos forces, man. They're being too petty with it, you know? If the Tyranids are there, they're gonna wipe them out. Fuck it, just let it happen, you know? Just let them kill each other. That's all it is, right? Like, oh, well, he's my enemy, I gotta kill him. Listen, at the end of the day, dead is dead, right? Like, that's all I'm saying. Let the Tyranids rip them apart. The Tyranids, man, you know, they're obviously a very, very big threat, but, you know, as long as you can corral them at the right enemy, like, fuck, take advantage, you know?
That time may be drawing near, for the largest warp storms in all existence have split the galaxy and the Imperium in two. Cut off from the light of the Astronomicon, Baal is no longer merely the homeworld of the Blood Angels, but the center of the Imperium Nihilus, upon which every hope now rests. Above Baal, a vast fleet is gathering, a newly formed battle fleet, making ready to crusade across the stars once more. At its head is Commander Dante, now regent of this dark Imperium, elevated by Robute Gilliman himself to a level of authority unseen for millennia.
Damn.
Their duty is clear, to seek out every fallen...
That's actually kind of awesome. So Dante has the title of regent now. That's pretty sick. That's good for him, man. That's awesome to hear.
For millennia. Their duty is clear, to seek out every fallen world where the defenders of the Imperium cry out for salvation. This task is deadly, arduous, and impossible. But this is the very essence of the Blood Angels, the reason for which their old legion was crafted. On countless worlds across the Imperium Nihilus, though terrible powers gather in the darkness, and the Emperor's light has faded to a dim flicker, though every hope seems lost, and the victory of the Chaos God shines like a burning wound across a million worlds, bells still toll in the night. Once each year, from the mightiest spires of temple worlds to the most humble steeples of forgotten hovels, bells are rung in the memory of a fallen angel.
Oh, man.
In these places, however dire the circumstances, a day is still taken to feast and remember. Stories are told of an imperial saint whose beauty, grace, artistry, and empathy for a brief moment...
Like, they do just look awesome. Like, to be fair.
To a future more wonderful...
Not a god, though, guys. Not a god.
...could ever imagine. They speak of a warrior who faced down his corrupted brother so that his father might seize victory from the anguish of defeat. But above all, tales are told of Sanguinius's avenging sons, a gleaming host of angels who, like their Primarch before them, have become the wrath of the Emperor, drowning all who take up arms against the Imperium in a scarlet tide of blood.
Just out of curiosity, how much do you think it happens? Like, obviously kind of joking here, but also kind of not, depending upon the circumstances. Do you think there's ever any confusion between Blood Angels and, like, Khorne, chaos forces, like, of Khorne? You know, because they got that red color scheme. If you're just some random fucking guard regiment out in the fringe of fucking society, fringe of the universe, and you see red, you know, and I guess you don't really, like... guess you're not really privy to the knowledge of chaos like everyone else is, but like still, you know, like I know there's a lot of confusion because, like, again, they don't know what heretic, They just see a space marine. They have no fucking idea what chapter you are, what legion you are. They don't care either. They're just happy to see, you know, a representation, an angel himself come to save you. But a lot of the times it's, you know, it's not a loyalist angel that's come to save you. It's a chaos Astartes, you know what I'm saying? So I wonder how much friendly fire goes on in the Warhammer universe. Obviously a fucking ton, depending upon like what sub-faction you are, I guess. If you're a guard regiment, fuck man, friendly fire is another Tuesday out here. But like, I wonder for Astartes how often it happens. I guess I paused it right at the end there. That was kind of stupid of me.
The Templin Institute investigates the nations, factions, and organizations of alternate worlds. If you've enjoyed this video and would like to join the Templin Institute, consider pledging to our Patreon page. Along with increased security access, you'll be able to vote in polls to determine future topics, get custom wallpaper every week, and receive some other exclusive rewards.
Whoa! Look at those badges, man. Those badges are sweet. Wow, guys. That was Blood Angels chapter, Warhammer 40k by the Templin Institute. Fantastic video, as always. You know me, I love the Templin Institute. I've not been disappointed with any of their videos so far. I think they do a fantastic narration job. I think their music choices are great. I like the bit of animation that they have mixed in there as well, I will say. And man, they do a great job of giving you the overview. We got a little bit of a brief Sanguinius overview there. And then just telling you the overall what's involved with a Blood Angel. Nothing too in depth, not a massive lore dump, but enough to get you interested, enough to kind of wet your beak in the lore of the Blood Angels. If you want to go learn more, obviously that was enough to get me interested in them. And you know, I do know a little bit, but I don't know a lot of specifics, so I thought that was great. So big shout out to Fear for that recommendation. Hey, I appreciate that as always. And yeah, guys, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like, subscribe for more content from me, and of course, leave your recommendations down in the comments below. And come on down, join our Discord, guys. If you want to post a link for a video that you want to recommend me, don't do that in YouTube. It will get auto-deleted. That's no choice of mine. YouTube doesn't like links, so if you want to post an actual link instead of just the title name, come on down and join the Discord. You can post it there. We have a section for that, and you can join in a multitude of different discussions. It's awesome to see you guys there, so come on down and join the Discord. Big shout out to all of our members, all of our Hastati, and our Principe, Dagenhart. I appreciate you, sir. You guys inspire me to make more content for you guys every single day, of course. And with that, guys, this has been Centurion, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace, guys.